I thought if I was going to sing Ebony Eyes from Stevie Wonder, I should sing the Bob Welch version. Dun 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 dun. Well, have you seen that girl in the corner? I'd like to take her out of her chains. 'Cause if I had my way with you, baby, I would be changing your life today. Dun, dun, your eyes got me dreaming. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me blind. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me hoping that I'll be holding you close to mine. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. She was the same as 100 ladies. When her eyes looked at I learned that she was keeping a secret fire. And if I got real close, I'd burn. So it looked like I had her moving slowly, just like a cat at night in the trees. 'Cause I was waiting for to show me that way that life she liked to love to feel. Dun dun. Your eyes got me dreaming. Dun 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 dun. Your eyes got me blind. Dun 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 dun. Your eyes got me hoping that I'll be holding you close tonight. Dun dun dun. Your eyes got me dreaming. Dun 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 dun. Your eyes got me blind. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me hoping that I'll be holding you close to mine. Dun, dun, oh, ebony eyes, oh, ebony eyes, oh, oh, ebony eyes, dun, 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 dun. Ebony eyes, oh, yeah, yeah. Your eyes got me dreaming. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me blind. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me hoping that I'll be holding you close tonight. Dun, dun, dun. Your eyes got me dreaming. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me blind. Dun, 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 dun. Your eyes got me hoping that I'll be holding you close tonight. Dun dun, your eyes got me dreaming. Dun 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 dun. Your eyes got me blind. Dun 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 dun. Your eyes got me hoping that I'll be holding you close tonight. Dun 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 dun. Okay. How about I figured I should do this in 2D, the songs, because then it'll be easier for people to pick out where the songs are. And the other thing is that it isn't all that important that I do the music in 3D. I really should be doing outings in 3D and save the quality of my camera for other things, my VR180. Because, I mean, what am I trying to do with VR180 whenever I'm singing songs or talking politics? Really nothing. I think I've already proven that I'm able to pull shit out of thin air. So what's the point in seeing me in VR80 for that stuff anyhow? I was gonna do some Davis, what's his name, Paul Davis songs. So Davis, right? Is it Paul Davis? Is that his name? Yeah, Paul Davis. He's great. He's a great musician. He's known for his soft songs. So he had to, stupid Safari lost its place, and I can't even get it back to go to the address bar. Now it had me go to Paul McCartney because I spelled Davis wrong. So, hello girl, it's been a while. Guess you'll be glad to know that I've learned how to laugh and smile. Getting over you is slow. They say that all of us can be good friends, but I never thought I'd really see you again. That I would see you again. I go crazy when I look in your eyes. I still go crazy. No, my heart can just hide that fatal feeling inside, way deep down inside. Oh, baby, when I look in your eyes, I go crazy. You say he's satisfied your mind, tells you all of his dreams. I know how that much means to you. I realized that I was blind just when I thought I was over you. I see your face and it just ain't true. No, it just ain't true. I go crazy when I look in your eyes. I still go crazy. That old flame comes alive. It starts burning down inside, way deep down inside. Oh, my baby, I know when I look in your eyes, I go crazy. No, whoa, whoa, I go crazy. When I look in your eyes, I go crazy. No, my heart just can't hide that old feeling inside. Way deep down inside, I go crazy. And see how I was able to start off at the right key? That's because I've got the tape recorder inside my head, and I can just turn it on, and I know the exact pitch to sing at. So it's not like I really have to get a pitch pipe out, and I don't always start out that way. But see, now let's try Paul. There's another Paul that isn't Davis, and it's not McCartney. Paul, or is it John? It's not Paul Davis, and I'm trying to remember his name. The guy with the long hair that looked like a 14-year-old. Paul Script. Okay. Okay. Let's do Paul Davis again. Okay, I know it. He was known for another song that everybody likes, and they don't know it's the same guy. And he goes, dun 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 dun. I was there, got a cop. Dun, 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 dun. You were into bebop. You sang ooh wop diddy, ooh wop doo. All those things that you put me through. If I could go back again, well, I know I never let you go. Back with all of my friends to that wonderful 65 love affair. Dun, dun. We wasn't getting nowhere, but we didn't care. It was a crazy 65 love affair. Dun, dun. Rock and roll was simple and clear. Oh, I still can hear. I can hear it, baby. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I acted like a dum-dum. You were bad with your pom-poms. You said, oh, I think, oh, I've been in done to know if I could go back again, back in time. Well, you know, I saw I'd be still be mine. I wouldn't be so blind to that wonderful 65 love affair. When rock and roll was simple like this. Oh, I still can hear. I can hear it, baby. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I tried to make you give in one night at the drive-in. You said, oh no, baby, oh no, woo. All them chases you put me through. If I could go back in time, well, I know somehow you'd still be mine. I wouldn't be so blind to that wonderful 65 love affair. When we was on getting nowhere, but we didn't care. No, 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 that crazy love affair. Dun, dun. Rock and roll was simple and clear. Oh, I still can hear. I can hear it, baby. Dun, 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 dun. We say diddy wop, diddy wop, diddy wop, do. 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 Jump, 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 team. Jump, 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 do, 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 do. You know, and it goes into the girls singing the cheers at the football team, and it says, if I could go back again, well, I know our love would never end. Back with all of our friends to that wonderful 65 love affair. We wasn't getting nowhere, but we didn't care. I was under 65 love affair. Rock and roll simple and clear. Oh, I still can hear. I can hear it, baby. 65 love affair. But we weren't getting nowhere. Now we didn't care. No, 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 no. 65 love affair. Rock and roll simple and clear. Oh, I still can hear. I can hear it, baby. It's amazing. If I can get the lyrics and I can do the song, it's pretty easy. Oh. Let's do Cliff Richard. Cliff Richard. And the one that he does with Olivia Newton-John. Okay. She walks in, son and I a hero. Taking in my been to ride. Look at me. Can't you tell I'd be so thrilled to see the message in your eyes? Will make it seem I'm so close to my dream, and then suddenly it's all there. Suddenly the wheels are in motion, and I'm ready to sail in the ocean. Suddenly I don't need the answers, 'cause I'm ready to take all my chances with you. Do, 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 do. How can I feel? No, that goes late. That comes down. How can I feel? You're all that matters. I realize anything you say. I take the care that no illusions shadow. How can I feel? You're the. I really anything you say. I take the care. No illusions shadow. You dare say what you should say. You make it feel. Seems I'm so close to my dream. And suddenly it's all there. Suddenly the wheels are in motion. And I'm ready to sail in the ocean. Suddenly I don't need the answers. 'Cause I am ready to take all my chances with you. I needed to rehearse this, but I hadn't heard it in a long time. Why do I feel so alive when you're near? There's no way any hurt can get through. Longing to spend every moment of the day with you. Suddenly the wheels are in motion. I'm ready to sail in the ocean. Suddenly I don't need the answers, 'cause I'm ready to take all my chances with you. Ooh. And that's from Xanadu and Cliff Richard. And there's another one in there that had a whole animation done by the same guy that did Pete's Dragons, or not Pete's Dragon, but did the Dragon's Lair video game. I'm trying to remember his name. He did that comic area. He was kind of he was known for doing Disney style animation, but his company was not Disney, of course, and he would end up doing stuff that Disney wouldn't do. So I'm sure they asked Disney to do the stuff and they wouldn't do it. And so Don Bluth Studios, and he ended up doing it. Don't Walk Away is the name of the song. Don't Walk Away. And it was sung by Jeff Lynne. So, but it's going to say yellow. But I'll just do anyhow. So I have to do I'll do ELO because that will get it. Electric Light Orchestra. So I'll just do electric. Come on, it's in there. I know it's in there. Oh, shit. Maybe it's looking for an apostrophe. That's probably what the difference is. Don't. There it goes. Haha. It was the apostrophe. Huh. Why do I say, don't walk away? You'll be the way you were before. When you don't want me anymore. Don't turn around. Don't ever leave a lonely room where empty days are gathering to meet me when you're gone, gone. How in the world will I go on? Don't walk away. All you gotta do is stay. Don't walk away. All you gotta do is stay. Don't walk away. Don't walk away. Don't walk away. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't let it die. Don't let it die. When shadows fall. When shadows fall. When day is done. When day is done. All through the night. All through the night. All of my life. All of my life. Don't walk away. Is it a dream? When will it end? When everything we've ever known has ended and I'm all alone? Where will I go? Where will I be? The feelings that I've never shown maybe find answer when you're gone, gone. How in the world will I go on? Don't walk away. All you gotta do is stay. Don't walk away. All you gotta do is stay. Don't walk away. Hey, don't walk away. Don't walk away. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't let it die. Don't let it die. When shadows fall. When shadows fall. When day is done. When day is done. All through the night. All through the night. All of my life. All of my life. Don't walk away, don't walk away, don't live, don't say goodbye, don't turn around, don't turn around, don't let it die, don't let it die. When shadows fall, when shadows fall, when day is done, when day is done, all through the night, all through the night, all of my life, all in the way. Don't walk away, don't walk away. And it just goes off into the distance. That's also from Xanadu, and we'll do another one from Xanadu. This will be easier to find, so I have to say is Olivia Newton John and is that same song? No, that's not the same song. It's there we go. It doesn't even have the no, no, no other face could take you off my mind. You're so refined. You're much too young. I have to warn you. I'm never gonna set you free. 'Cause I was born to love you for eternity. Whenever you're away from me, wherever you go, you're never far away from me, I want you to know I only have to close my eyes, dear, and suddenly I know where you are. You better never stray, 'cause I'll never be far away. On every breeze I seem to hear your name, my heart's aflame, I feel the same, I feel fall apart, dear, if it feels don't break my heart, dear, nobody else could whenever you're far away from me, wherever you go, da, 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 you're never far away from me, da, da, I want you to know I only have to close my eyes, dear, and suddenly I'm where you are. You better never stray, 'cause I'll never be far away. No. The only reason why I know that song because I heard it because I loved that album to death whenever I was 10. I heard the album for a good year before the film was out because it was available at Target, and I bought it out of the Target record area, and I just sat and listened to it, and I was just like, what is this Xanadu thing? Is this going to be like a movie that's going to come out? And I mean, when is it coming out? I mean, when it came out, I was just like blown away by it. I would have to say it was the last musical ever. It was the last hope for a musical in the 80s, and then there wasn't any real musicals for a long while. There was musicals in the 60s and there was musical in the 70s, but then it just kind of laid flat in the 80s. And Xanadu was the last example of any hopes to have a musical at all. And I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who was in this movie who played opposite of her, who was the older investor that was going to make the whole dream come true. And he was a very popular dancer, and his name isn't even on this. It only says Olivia Newton-John lyrics. It doesn't mention him at all. And his name will pop in my head because it's such a popular name. He was just such a fantastic dancer, but he got to a point when this movie was made, he had to have been in his 60s or maybe even 70s, and he couldn't possibly do any of the tap dancing and stuff. In fact, he was only alive for about another decade, and then he passed away. So, dang it, what's his name? So, that was great. It was a terrible movie in that it was kind of third rate. But it was more musical anyhow. So to call it a movie is just really kind of grasping at straws. But it was great, and they played it so much on HBO, and everybody loved the music from it. But it just was not a believable it was steeped in Greek mythology and all sorts of stuff. And Olivia Newton-John tried to make it as real as possible. She tried to add her magic to it to make it feel like it could be completely possible. And whenever I say that I would like to be a muse in the afterlife, that film represented being a muse to me because it gave me an example kind of in the same light as what Roxy Music was trying to do in Britain, and that was to give people a concept and an idea for fashion and for rising above the simplicity and the limitations of what was presented them in the world, that they didn't have to have that kind of perspective on the future. And what Roxy Music did for fashion and for rock and roll in stepping outside of the guise of the greasers and all the stuff that had been before, and creating a kind of an aesthetic to a grown pristine aesthetic, something to look at to make you dream about a possible future in rock and roll, and in a way to go, which led to the New Romantics and Duran Duran and all those guys. As a result of the club in England where all of the New Romantics hung out, that was all driven by a need to step out of what Roxy Music and them and the whole glam rock movement started, and they were called the New Romantics, and so does Duran Duran and Spandau Ballet and all those guys. Chic was inspired by Roxy Music, and so maybe we should sing either a Roxy Music tune. I'm gonna sing the very first Roxy Music tune, and that would be Virginia Plain. And they were rock and roll. They weren't anything like the New Romantics, like Duran Duran. They were just taking rock and roll and putting a different face on it and adding some synthesizers. So, make me a deal and make it straight. All signed and sealed, I'll take it. To Robert E. Lee, I'll show it. I hope you pray you don't blow it, 'cause we've been around a long time. Just try to make the big time. Take me on a roller coaster and take me for an airplane ride. Take me for a 6 days wonder, but don't you throw my pride aside. Besides, what's real in make-believe? Baby Jane's in Acapulco, we're flying now to Rio. Don't throw me a line, I'm sinking fast, clutching at straws, I can't make it. Havana sound, we're trying, hard edge, hips to jiving. Last picture shows down the drive-in. You're so sheer, you're so chic, teenage rebel of the week. Flavors of mountain streamline, midnight blue casino floors. Dance the cha-cha through the sunrise. Open up exclusive doors. Oh wow, it's just the flamingos look the same. So me and you, just we two, go to search for something new. Probably plan the plain horizon, someplace near the desert strand, where the Studebaker takes me. That's where I'll make my stand. But wait, can't see you, there the holes are main. But what's her name? Virginia Plain. Okay. And I got that album, and when I heard that song, I was like, boy, that's the gayest sounding song I've ever heard. They were setting a style, and the thing to realize is that at the time they were coming out, it was glam rock, and what was important in glam rock was the vague it was kind of a vagueness. It was a kind of a not being male or female. It was somewhere in between. The androgynous look was in. And if you think that it wasn't strong, just go and look at a certain album cover that Daryl Hall and John Oates created about the time, and it wasn't really them that pushed it. It was a record producer that encouraged them to make the photo, and that's the one where they added a high cheekbone structure by putting in some shadow, some makeup to raise their cheekbone level. and they were trying to capture that androgynous look whenever it was in, and it was kind of out by the time they made that album cover. And they kind of, to some degree, laugh at it and kind of say, boy, we really kind of screwed up that one, you know. What were we trying to do, you know, just looking back on that, you know. And they've been through everything. I mean, Daryl Hall and John Oates, if you listen to their older music, you know that they made some really bad songs, but they tried hard to be competitive, and they were learning from the bands around them. And I'm sure when they did Abandoned Luncherette, they were looking at Supertramp's, what Supertramp was putting out, what Billy Joel was putting out, and they were just trying to see how they could kind of fit in and compete with those bands, because they weren't established enough to like really be seen as unique and doing their own thing. So they were like a lot of musicians of the times of the early 70s doing covers of other people's music, or creating music that was like other people's music, creating something that people would buy into, but something they didn't have to, that it wasn't really important to stand out. It was just important to produce different takes on the content that was floating around, or creating or writing music, you know. In the 80s, you could do a cover of anything just as long as you made it sound like 80s music, and you know, and make a lot of money off of somebody else's song from a decade before, because the audience didn't particularly care. They just wanted, they were concerned more about the newness of music and the danceability of the music, not returning to a time, to a previous time before the hippie movement and all that, but trying to capture the same fun that was missing during the 70s and 80s. You know, trying to return to the fun of the 60s and 50s without losing without losing the fun, without getting distracted by other things. And only a few musicians were lucky enough to get through the 70s without doing a disco album. And an example being Elvis Costello. I'm sure because he's such a strong-willed individual, the record companies probably argued with him that he wouldn't produce. I think in one case he was encouraged to produce a song that would use double Dutch in it, and he, to spite it, he made it a song about a double duchess, that he would talk double Dutch to a real double duchess. And when the record company heard that, they were just kind of like, what can we expect from this guy? You know, he's going to find a way to get out of what it is we want to do. You know, he was not someone they could control. He was his own man, and I think as a result of his defiance of the producers and all the people that wanted to use him to produce product for them, something they could sell, quality product that was aligned with everybody else's products. His defiance to that helped his fans to realize that he really was intent on producing fun music that was reminiscent of a time that people found to be fun music. You know, the whole purpose for the punk rock era was not to produce a style of music. It was to bring back the fun of the 60s. That was really what the focus of punk was. It was to bring back the naivety of getting up on stage and just playing the instruments as a first step to being on stage and being the musicians that they wanted to be. To start with the naivety and the dream of making it as a musician, which was a prerequisite to doing it, to getting up and doing it, that produced the fun of the 60s, because that was the same naivety that existed in the 60s that produced the music of the 60s. So it was kind of those people that were jamming to that music of the 60s came into the 70s and were hit with the brick wall of studio recording equipment, professional studio musicians, the Steely Dans, the Eagles, and who were going to perfect the sound, and that was the product they were competing with. And the record companies wouldn't take them seriously because they couldn't live up to the professional musicians. And so the opportunity to be out there and on stage and to be novice and be naive and to focus, hone in on what they loved versus what would sell well, that was important to the success of the punk movement. The Talking Heads, David Byrne, said that it was kind of that they all the punk rockers and all the other people kind of understood the sentiment of when the Sex Pistols decided to tour America, and at the end of it, Johnny Rotten got down on stage and said in the microphone, "Do you ever get the feeling that do you feel like you've been cheated?" And he wasn't talking to the audience, but he was talking to himself, that this dream of coming to America and bringing the fun of being punk rockers and all that stuff had zero effect on, as they saw it, on the market and the acceptability in America of a second British invasion. And what the Sex Pistols were they were a defiant group to the plasticness of Britain, but it was a post-hippie defiance. It wasn't the hippie generation, because people by that time had been sick of the hippies and their ineffectiveness to change, to be a counterculture to what was going on in Britain, and how people were just unwilling to accept ideas that pushed against a government that has warred, that has been internally destructive as a result of realizing, as being kind of a drunkard, realizing that it's a has-been, and that the great British Empire was none such, and they were, and the aristocracy was just a plastic front for a failing government that was then just going to start living off of whatever it could suck out of the natural resources of that island, because that was all that was left of the British Empire. That and some companies like BP and all these corporations that resulted from the investment of British aristocracy dollars and whatever the government was going to able to suck off its own people. The people who lived in Britain, I'm sure, felt during the 70s, especially after seeing what was happening in Ireland and such, that that there was that there was a grand parasite living off the lifeblood of them, and they needed to break out of that and go somewhere else where there was a potential to make a better life, and America would be it. But I think the Sex Pistols came to America in hopes of being able to rebel like the Americans did against the British Empire, to come to America and to bring about a revolution of a revolutionary approach to being what you wanted to be defiant and be your own individual, and be revered, or to take part in producing and something fun and something that everybody could get into, and that it's a sort of a religion. Punk rock is. It's a religion about that empowers individuals to get up and be who they want to be. And a DIY concept. And through every era, there has been a DIY. For instance, in the 80s, there was a DIY of getting up and publishing through desktop publishing your own newspaper and magazines, to be a counterculture to the media, the papers, and possibly the radio and all those things that were controlling the minds of everybody in America and in the rest of the world, that people could produce their own media and challenge the ideas that were coming out of the corporations that were in control of the news empires. That became worse in the 90s. In the 90s, it became necessary to have that counterculture, and it took its form in terms of groups like Nirvana and things of that nature. But the MP3s kind of laid waste to all the people that would make money in that, and it caused people to rethink what being a musician meant. That it wasn't going to be the case that they were going to be able to continue selling music as a product, but that what became important was being a live band and finding ways to make money to substitute for what would be record sales. I think the records, the CDs and record CDs of the bands in the 90s were not really to raise the wage or raise the quality of the music or anything. It was really it's those records and CDs were really just to help people find and recall bands that were experimenting with sound, so that they wouldn't be, so that their interest in what they were pushing for wasn't lost in the present, which wouldn't be accepting of their words because of the quality of the music was not something that would compel a large audience, but something that was insightful and relevant to that generation, trying to bring about a perspective on what was once the way things were, the fun of rock and roll, and the celebration of music. Coming back to realize that what was important was to perform, and the product would just distance them from their fan base if that became the focus. And they could also see, probably as a result of making music to be sold as a can of beans on a discount rack, or sold in some rack, that as cassette tapes became available, buying records became less of a concern. It would put into power those who sustain themselves on live performances and day jobs and things, just for the love of the music, and that the main industry was going to fall by the wayside, and not so much dying, but losing, creating a muscle atrophy in the record industry, that the inability to sell product well would create a atrophying of their potential to grow. I wish I could only, because in my mind I'm developing a 3D object, and I'm thinking about the times when I used to model objects, and I'm wondering, with the same amount of detail and concern and ideas that I've got, if I could produce an object in 3D graphics with the same inspiration that I have now, even though I know I'm going to fall asleep, or that I'm going to lose the perception of what. Yeah. So I'm going to sleep. I'm going to go to sleep. I'll see you guys later.